Shalom. Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Bahashim Kwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother Yahshua. I'm back with a World War III daily update. Shalom and salutations to you. This is Monday, the first day of the update for the next 5 days. And part of the war update might be the Civil War. That could start any day now, but we'll try to keep it to World War III unless otherwise necessary. So we'll start right here at Joel, right, and the gathering of the troops, right? We'll start at 2. And if I read it in the King James, it would say, I will also gather all nations. The I would be the Most High, right? Because he's about to judge the nation. But more specifically, when it says, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, right? The Middle East. When you read it in the NLT, it gives you a bit more clarity, all right? NLT, I will gather the armies of the world, okay? The armies of the nations of the world into the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, God's judgment, right? There will I judge them. That's what Shaphat means, judgment. Yahweh Shaphat, God's judgment. There will I judge them for harming my people, my special possession, for scattering my people among the nations and dividing up my land. Okay, so here's the point. I will gather the armies of the world. So right now we're watching the gathering of the armies of the world. Okay, now this will eventually become World War III. Right now, there are different fronts or theaters, if you will. You got Eastern Europe, you have Southeast Asia, you got the Korean Peninsula, I meant the South China Sea, that's Taiwan and China. Okay, North Korea, South Korea. All right, you got Ethiopia, Tigray, and Eritreans. All right. There's war. Who is this? Greece about to go heads up with Turkey. All right, that's called World War. So the Most High is gathering the armies of the world. First, they're going to fight in these different fronts, but they're all going to wind up in the Middle East, the Valley of Yehoshaphat, for Armageddon, which is the last battle. Now we'll go back to King James, Joel 3, and start at 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near. They're gathering, let them come up. Here's the gathering of the troops. Let's read that in a different, prepare war, rouse the warriors, let all the fighting men draw near. Let all your fighting men advance for the attack. Call out your best warriors. Let's see. It's the gathering of the troops. All right. Have all your soldiers come forward. That's what's happening right now. Draw near. Draw near. Let's see. Prepare. Gather. The gathering. Gather all your soldiers and march. The troop tribes are gathering. Jan Michael Vincent. The gathering of the troops. All right. Let them draw near. Let all the soldiers report muster formation. All right. Approach. Draw near, draw near. All right, back to good news. Gather. Okay, so with that, let's listen to Scott Ritter News, a little 2-minute thing. And he's going to speak about all the troops that are, drawing near or gathering. All right. And this is basically, he's talking about Southeast Asia, Russia, Ukraine, in that area, the Western Europe, Europeans. All right. As this thing gathers momentum. All right. So we'll let him talk. Game changer for Russia 1 day ago. 2 minutes.
Structure, how to release American forces. All these forces that are in NATO right now under NATO command would have to be released from NATO command. And the Russians are going to hear about that and go, all right, 500,000 more troops. So this is just fantasy on the part of Petraeus and the West. It's not real. It's not going to happen. There's no threat of it happening. Look, the bottom line, first of all, the 300,000 troops aren't conscripts. They're reservists. They're all people with prior military service. And they've been selected because they have skill sets that are needed. According to the Russians, as of last week, 87,000 of them have been deployed into the Special Military Operations Zone. They have been incorporated into existing units. So the divisions, the regiments, the battalions that were already there have been reinforced with these new troops. And this is very smart, by the way, because you don't want to pull out a combat experienced unit that has leadership, officer leadership, enlisted leadership, the troops who have survived war and now know how to survive, know how to fight. They know the enemy, they know the terrain. If you pull them out and bring in a team of rookies, they got to relearn all that again, and that's not good. So you keep the team, you reinforce them. So the Russians have actually become much stronger because they still have the experience, but now they've been brought up to full strength. But there's still around 220,000 Russians that are being formed into these reserve regiments, reserve divisions.
You hear these numbers? 220,000. You hear all those numbers? These are troops gathering. All right. Get your best soldiers. All right. All the skilled army men. This is what the scriptures are describing. He's saying the same thing that the scriptures are saying.
Once they finish their training, and we talked about this in the past, I think their training will be done sometime at the end of this month, early next month. Then they will be sent in, and they have options. They can go up north along the Russian-Ukrainian border, threaten an attack into Kharkiv from that direction. They can reinforce existing forces here, give them greater penetration capability. They can go to Belarus and threaten Kiev that way. But these troops are finalizing their preparations. When they do finish, they'll be organized into fighting divisions, and these divisions will be deployed fully equipped to the front, and it's going to be a game changer for the Russians. No, Russia has advantages across the board, from the strategic economic game being played in Europe right now, to shutting down the electrical grid in Ukraine, to attriting the Ukrainian forces. Structure.
Okay, so, and not only that, America is sending in troops. The Most High is gathering the troops, right? Slowly in your face. 101, airborne. In Airborne Division, Ukraine. What? This is Babylon the Great sending. This 2 weeks ago. U.S. 101, the choking chicken, Airborne Division deployed near Ukraine's border 2 weeks ago. All right, 12 days. They ain't saying shit about it. But guess what? America's in this war right now, whether you understand that or not. Why? Here's why. Go back to Joel. Okay? Let's prepare for Holy War. Let's go back to King James. Okay. And we'll read from 9 again. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war, mercenaries, people that don't belong to any specific country's army. Well, here's what I do. I pull triggers for anybody that's got money. Okay, like the Taliban, like ISIS, like Al Qaeda. All right, Al Qaeda is getting the call right now. Can you guys come over here and bring them weapons that we left for you in Afghanistan? Come over here and do this fighting. That's God gathering the troops. Okay? All right? Let's see. Yep. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let's read a couple of these. Again. Rouse the warriors. Call out your best warriors. Mercenaries. Okay? Stir up your mighty men. Rouse the men. Wake up the mighty men. Arouse the warriors. Line up for battle and prepare to attack. Wake up your elite forces. Special forces. Green Beret. Okay? Delta Force. Stir up the mighty ones. Alert the warriors. Prepare for a holy war, right? Call out the warriors. Okay, stir up your mighty ones. Let all the men of war draw near. Wait. Come up, let all the men of war. That it? All right, good enough. Let all the soldiers draw near. Okay? And that's what this guy was just talking about. This guy.
Structure, how to release American forces. All these forces that are in NATO right now under NATO command would have to be released from NATO command.
So anybody that is conscripted or assigned to NATO, which is a bunch of countries, they have to get out of their contract, right? In order to go over and not be NATO, they have to be a free agent, if you will, at the point that we're at right now. Okay? Because a bunch of mercenaries, if you will, went over, right, and tried to fight against Russia and came back home with their tail. They were like, oh, no, they're not playing. You can't pay me enough to do that. So what they do, they called Al Qaeda, you know, the ones that they trained over there in the Middle East. And they're going to go to Eastern Europe for a minute, and then they're going to find themselves right back in the Middle East for Armageddon, the last battle. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out, that this thing is not going anywhere. Okay? Somebody said that Xi Jinping gave Russia a warning, hey, no nukes or whatever. I'm like, you guys are on the same team, first of all, so what kind of propaganda is that, right? And nothing is going to slow this thing down. Hey, Vlad Putin is under supreme mind control, all right? The Most High has hardened his heart, which is his mind. So we're going to see this thing grow. So we'll end it right there, hoping that the elect were edified. Brothers and few sisters, with that, shalom.